The signal. Dr. Maya Chen rubbed her tired eyes as the monitors at Arecibo Deep Space Observatory flickered with the usual cosmic background radiation data. Her third night shift this week, and the universe remained stubbornly silent. The massive radio telescope dish outside gathered whispers from the depths of space, mostly the random noise of distant stars and galaxies. More coffee. Dr. Raj Patel appeared at her side, offering a steaming mug. "Thanks," Maya said, taking the cup. 3 years scanning the stars, and all we've got to show for it is a better map of stellar phenomena. Sometimes I wonder if we're just shouting into the void. Raj shrugged. The universe is a big place. If someone's out there, they might be wondering the same thing. As Raj walked away, Maya noticed something unusual on monitor 6, a pattern in the signal from HD 164,595, a sun-like star about 94 light-years from Earth. She adjusted her headphones and leaned closer. Among the usual cosmic static, a distinct pattern repeated itself every 8.4 seconds with mathematical precision. Natural phenomena didn't do that. Her heart began to race. "Raj," she called out, fingers flying across the keyboard as she isolated the signal. "I need you to verify something." Raj hurried over, his expression changing as he saw the data stream. "That's not natural." "No," Maya agreed, running the signal through the standard verification protocols. "It's structured. Look at this frequency pattern. Prime numbers, followed by what looks like mathematical constants." The pattern became clearer as they refined their focus on the signal source. It wasn't random stellar noise. It was a deliberate transmission. "We need to call Director Okafor," Raj said, his voice barely above a whisper. Maya reached for the emergency phone, but hesitated. "Let's be absolutely certain first. Remember the pulsar incident last year?" They spent the next hour analyzing the signal from every angle, applying various filters and verification protocols. The more they worked, the clearer it became. This was no natural phenomenon or equipment malfunction. When Director Nala Okafor arrived at the facility 90 minutes later, her usual composed demeanor cracked slightly as she reviewed their findings. "You're certain?" she asked, her Nigerian accent more pronounced with stress. "The signal contains prime numbers, followed by basic mathematical constants, then what appears to be a simple binary encoding system," Maya explained. "It repeats consistently with slight variations that suggest it's designed to teach us how to interpret more complex messages that follow." Okafor nodded slowly. "We need to activate the first contact protocol." Within hours, the quiet observatory transformed into a hive of activity. Government officials, military personnel, and scientists from around the world arrived via helicopter and military transport. The United Nations Space Communication Task Force, a body few people knew existed until today, established a command center in the main conference room. Maya found herself at the center of a global collaboration unlike anything in human history. As the original discoverer, she led the signal analysis team, working alongside linguists, mathematicians, and cryptographers. "We believe they're establishing a common language framework," Maya explained during a briefing 2 days after discovery. "The mathematical principles are universal, creating a foundation for more complex communication." "Have we responded?" asked General Williams, the U.S. military representative. Director Okafor shook her head. "Not yet. The protocol requires consensus before transmission." "We're running out of time," said Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, Japan's leading xenolinguist. "The signal has evolved 3 times in the past 48 hours. They're clearly waiting for acknowledgement." The debate raged for another day, some arguing for caution, others for immediate response. Maya stayed focused on the signal, which continued to develop in complexity. "They're giving us more," she told the assembled experts late on the 3rd night. "Look at this pattern. It's a schematic for a more advanced communication device." The blueprint appeared straightforward, a quantum entanglement array that would allow instantaneous communication across vast distances. Earth had theoretical models for similar technology, but nothing practical. Could it be a trap? General Williams asked. Some way to compromise our systems. Dr. Tanaka studied the specifications. The principles are sound, just far beyond our current capabilities. It's like someone from 2023 sending instructions for a quantum computer to people in 1950. The concepts would be recognizable, but the technology would seem magical. After 5 days of round-the-clock analysis and heated debate, the UN Security Council authorized a response. They would acknowledge receipt of the message and express willingness to establish communication. Maya's hands trembled slightly as she initiated the transmission sequence. A simple mathematical response, acknowledging the alien message and confirming humanity's desire to communicate further. The waiting was excruciating. Even at light speed, their message would take 94 years to reach HD 164,595, and another 94 for any response to return to Earth. But only 20 minutes after their transmission, a new signal arrived. That's impossible, Raj said, staring at the incoming data. Unless they're much closer than we thought, Maya finished. The new message contained instructions for constructing a quantum communication device that would bypass the limitations of light-speed communication. The blueprint was elegantly simple, using technologies that existed on Earth, but configured in ways no human engineer had considered. In a secure facility beneath the observatory, a team of physicists and engineers worked around the clock to build the device. Director Okafor insisted on multiple safeguards. The device would remain physically isolated from all networks, with strict protocols for its use. 3 days later, Maya stood before the completed quantum communicator, a surprisingly small apparatus centered around a crystalline structure that pulsed with inner light. The lead engineer activated the final sequence, and the crystal began to glow brighter. A voice filled the room, speaking in perfect English. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are pleased you have chosen to answer. Your species shows wisdom in its caution, but also courage in its willingness to reach beyond current understanding." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. The voice continued, calm and measured. "We are the Collective, an association of spacefaring civilizations. We have monitored your world for some time, waiting until you reached an appropriate technological threshold. That time has come." Director Okafor stepped forward. "We welcome peaceful communication with your civilization. May I ask why you've contacted us now?" "Your species stands at a crucial juncture," the voice replied. "Your technological development has reached a point where you will either advance to join the greater community of civilizations or destroy yourselves. We offer guidance for the former path." "Where are you?" Maya asked impulsively. Your signal appeared to come from HD 164,595, but your response was too rapid. We maintain observation posts throughout this sector. The signal you detected was relayed from our central communication hub, but our nearest representatives are within your solar system, in what you call the Kuiper Belt. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Aliens have been watching from the edges of our solar system, perhaps for years or decades. Why haven't we detected you before? General Williams demanded. Your detection technologies are primitive, and we do not wish to be detected until a civilization is ready. We have observed thousands of emerging species throughout the galaxy. Only those who demonstrate both technological capability and peaceful intent are contacted. And if we had failed those criteria? Okafor asked. Then we would have continued to observe from a distance, as we do with many worlds whose species are not yet ready for contact. Maya found her voice again. You mentioned guidance. What kind of guidance do you offer? Knowledge, understanding of the universe beyond your current science, technologies that will help you overcome the limitations that bind you to your world. But first, we must establish proper diplomatic channels. Are you prepared to meet with our representatives? Director Okafor looked around the room at the assembled team. Despite all the potential risks, humanity had crossed a threshold. There was no going back. We are ready, she said firmly. Excellent. The voice replied, "Prepare your most capable diplomats and scientists. In 3 days, we will establish a virtual meeting space through this quantum interface. Your representatives will experience direct communication with our diplomatic envoys without physical contact, a standard protocol for first contact scenarios." As the glow in the crystal faded, the room erupted in excited discussion. Maya sat down, suddenly overwhelmed by the magnitude of what had just happened. Raj appeared at her side. "You did it, Maya. You found them." She shook her head. "No, they found us. They were watching all along, waiting for us to be ready." She looked up at the screens displaying the original signal pattern, the message that had changed everything. "The question is, are we really ready for what comes next?" The meeting. The virtual meeting space materialized around Maya as the quantum interface activated her consciousness into what seemed like an endless starfield. She felt weightless, her mind projected into this digital environment that felt completely real. Director Okafor's presence manifested beside her, appearing as a glowing humanoid shape, along with 5 other chosen representatives from Earth, scientists, diplomats, and 1 philosopher. "Remember," Okafor's voice echoed in the virtual space, "we're making history here. The first official diplomatic contact with extraterrestrial intelligence." 3 points of light appeared before them, gradually taking form into tall, graceful shapes that seemed made of flowing crystal and light. Their bodies rippled like curtains in a gentle breeze, changing colors with patterns that appeared to reflect their thoughts. "Greetings, Earth representatives." The central figure spoke, its voice creating harmonious echoes in the virtual space. "I am First Envoy Salila of the Collective. These are my colleagues, Observer Talon and Scientist Noor." Maya watched as Ambassador Lai Wei, Earth's chief diplomatic representative, stepped forward. "Greetings, Envoy Salila. We are honored to meet with you on behalf of humanity and planet Earth." Following established protocol, Ambassador Lai began sharing Earth's basic planetary and biological data through the interface. Immediately, Maya noticed a change in the aliens' forms. Their crystalline bodies flickered rapidly, colors shifting to deep purples and blues. "There must be an error in your data transmission," Scientist Noor said, its form pulsing with what seemed like agitation. "These environmental conditions cannot support complex life." Ambassador Lai looked confused. "The data is correct. Earth's gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. Our atmosphere is primarily nitrogen and oxygen with an average pressure of 100 and 1.325 kilopascals at sea level." The alien representative's forms trembled visibly. First Envoy Salila moved closer, examining the data with what seemed like fascination and horror. "You exist under such crushing gravity, with such dense atmospheric pressure, and these radiation levels from your sun." "Yes," Dr. Abrams, Earth's xenobiologist, confirmed. "These are normal conditions for Earth. All life on our planet evolved under these circumstances." Observer Talon, who had been silent until now, moved forward. "Your species developed intelligence while surviving these extreme conditions. This is unprecedented. We have never encountered successful civilization emergence on a death world." "Death world?" Maya couldn't help asking. "We classify habitable worlds on a scale of 1 to 10 based on environmental challenges to life," First Envoy Salila explained. "Most spacefaring civilizations evolve on Class 2 or 3 worlds. Your Earth, it defines what we call a Class 10 death world." Maya watched as they shared their own planetary data. She was shocked to see that their home worlds had gravity roughly 1/3 of Earth's, with much thinner atmospheres and minimal temperature variations. "How do you manage the constant stress on your bodies?" Scientist Noor asked. "The energy required just to move in such gravity. We don't even notice it," Dr. Abrams said. "Our bodies are perfectly adapted to these conditions. We actually require resistance training in lower gravity environments to maintain our health." The alien forms rippled with what might have been shudders. First Envoy Salila moved back slightly. Your species must possess remarkable physical capabilities compared to most collective members. This will need to be addressed in any future interactions. Are our conditions really so extreme? Ambassador Lai asked, maintaining diplomatic composure. Consider this, First Envoy Salila said, creating a visual display in the virtual space. A member of my species visiting your world would be crushed by their own body weight. Even our strongest environmental suits would fail under such conditions. You live on a world that would kill most known intelligent species within minutes. Maya felt a strange mix of pride and concern. Will this affect our potential relationship with the collective? The alien representatives conferred briefly, their forms merging and separating in a dance of light and color. Finally, First Envoy Salila addressed them again. Your world's conditions have shaped you into something unique in our experience. This presents both challenges and opportunities. We will need to establish special protocols for physical interactions, but your species' natural resilience could be invaluable in situations where other collective members cannot survive. As the initial shock subsided, the meeting shifted to more practical matters. The aliens shared information about the collective, an alliance of 27 spacefaring civilizations, all evolved in relatively gentle environmental conditions. They explained their governance structures, technological capabilities, and the protocols for integrating new species. But repeatedly, the conversation returned to human biology and Earth's harsh conditions. Your immune systems alone are remarkable, scientist Noor commented, analyzing the biological data. You coexist with millions of microorganisms that would be lethal pathogens to us. Your bodies fight off constant invasions without conscious effort. And your skeletal density, Observer Talon added, what we would consider catastrophic injury, you might treat as a minor fracture. Dr. Abrams tried to put things in perspective. We've always seen ourselves as fragile. Our literature is full of stories about our vulnerability to nature. That perspective is relative, First Envoy Salila said. To us, you are biological marvels, creatures who evolved intelligence despite living in conditions we would consider apocalyptic. As the meeting progressed to discussions of potential cooperation, a new concern emerged from the collective representatives. Before we proceed further, First Envoy Salila said, we must address safety protocols. Your natural physical capabilities exceed our established safety parameters by several orders of magnitude. What do you mean? Ambassador Lai asked. A human could, without any hostile intent, cause serious harm to most collective species through casual contact. Your resistance to environmental hazards, your physical strength relative to ours, these make you potentially dangerous companions. Maya noticed how the aliens' forms shimmered with caution whenever human capabilities were discussed. They weren't hostile. They were afraid. We have no intention of causing harm, Ambassador Lai assured them. These adaptations evolved for survival on our world, not as weapons. We believe your peaceful intentions, First Envoy Salila replied. However, we must protect our member species. Therefore, we propose a modified integration protocol. A document materialized in the virtual space. Ambassador Lai read through it carefully, her expression growing concerned. You want to limit human presence on collective worlds to designated high-gravity zones, and require special permits for any physical interaction with other species. These are necessary precautions, Observer Talon said. Additionally, we would require human representatives to wear movement restrictors in shared spaces, limiting your strength to prevent accidental injury to others. Dr. Cattry, Earth's theoretical physicist, stepped forward. That would be extremely uncomfortable for us. Our bodies are designed to work with Earth's gravity, not against it. Comfort must be balanced against safety, scientist Noor stated. We cannot risk a human accidentally crushing someone during a formal greeting. Ambassador Lai raised her hand for attention. While we understand your concerns, these restrictions seem excessive. Humans have learned to control our strength. We interact safely with far more delicate things than your species every day. She created a hologram showing humans handling delicate scientific equipment, performing microsurgery, creating intricate art. We are not mindless brutes. Our physical capabilities come with equally developed control. The collective representatives conferred among themselves, their forms merging and separating in patterns of light. Finally, First Envoy Salila addressed them again. We propose a compromise, a probationary period during which humans would demonstrate their ability to safely interact with other species. Successful completion would lead to fewer restrictions. And during this probation, Ambassador Lai asked, you would have access to collective technology and knowledge bases. Your scientists could collaborate with ours through virtual interfaces. Limited physical contact would be permitted under controlled conditions. Maya noticed the subtle emphasis on contributing in their proposal. You need us for something specific, don't you? First Envoy Salila's form flickered briefly. There are situations where your natural abilities would be invaluable. Rescue operations in high-gravity environments, engineering projects in extreme conditions, exploration of worlds too hostile for our species. Ambassador Lai smiled diplomatically. So you want to restrict us, but also use our capabilities when convenient. We offer fair exchange. First Envoy Salila responded. Your species would gain access to advanced technology and the combined knowledge of dozens of civilizations. We would gain allies capable of handling situations that challenge our physical limitations. Professor Okoro, the philosopher, spoke for the first time. What you're describing is not just biological difference, but a fundamental shift in perspective. What you see as our strength, we've always seen as our challenge. Earth's harshness forced us to cooperate, to innovate, to overcome through intelligence rather than individual power. The alien representatives seemed to consider this. Perhaps, First Envoy Salila said finally, that is why, despite your physical capabilities, you developed cooperation rather than domination as your primary evolutionary strategy. Most species with such natural advantages become aggressive and territorial. We had to cooperate to survive, Maya said. When your environment can kill you at any moment, you learn that even the strongest individual is vulnerable alone. A profound observation. Observer Talon noted. It suggests your species' true strength may not be physical at all. Ambassador Lai took control of the conversation again. We will need to discuss these terms with our governments, but I believe we can work within these parameters, provided there's room for adjustment as we prove ourselves. First Envoy Salila's form brightened. Then let us proceed with preliminary integration protocols. Welcome, provisional members of the Galactic Collective. May your strength become our strength, and our knowledge become your knowledge. As the virtual environment began to fade, signaling the end of the meeting, Maya turned to Director Okafor. Do you think they'll ever truly see us as equals, not just useful Deathworlders? Okafor smiled. They'll learn in time. After all, knowing when not to use your strength is itself a kind of strength. A strength born from living on a death world, Maya added. The meeting ended, leaving humanity with much to consider. Earth stood on the brink of joining a galactic community that viewed them with a mixture of fear and fascination. But as Maya returned to her physical body, she carried a new perspective on her home world. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a crucible that had forged humanity into something unique in the galaxy. Now they just had to prove that their greatest strength wasn't in their muscles or bones, but in their ability to build bridges, even to those who feared them.